Hey, ladies, gentlemen, friends, family, and everyone in between. Welcome back to Chicago Reacts. As always, I am Zach, an actor here in the city of Chicago, soon to be worldwide, and I am joined on my left and your right by the marvelous, magnificent.
I'm Michael, everybody. I'm also an actor here in the city of Chicago. We are back with Chicago Reacts. Today, we are checking out Anti-Aircraft 50 cal super rare prototype weapon by Brandon Herrera. This is the first video that we've watched with Brandon Herrera. Not the first video.
That hasn't been a Darwin Award.
Yeah, we've only watched Darwin Awards. So I'm interested to see just like a video of his.
Yeah, it's a fairly new one as well. A lot of people, especially in Kit and Kira's reactions, have been talking about this video specifically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of excited too. Brandon Herrera has just been doing so well with us and our audience. And anytime we find a new channel that just really vibes well with both us and you guys, it's like the perfect marriage of the two. So it's just awesome. And I'm excited to see more of his creative side.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see like what he creates. I mean, I think we've expressed this before. Like, I'm not a huge gun person, but it is interesting, again, diving into someone and following their passion with them.
Yep.
And I think we just have a lot of respect for how much he promotes like gun safety and respect.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And you guys do too. You guys really in the comment section, we follow and we see that too. So it's really good to see. So we love bringing you guys what you guys like to see and want to see. And we love reacting to it. So without further ado, like the video if you like it, love it. If you love it, subscribe if you haven't already done so. And check out the links in the description to Twitch, all that good stuff, and our links as well to our work. So
let's jump into it, shall we?
We go.
What is up, you sexy YouTube mother lovers? Now, if you're a gun...
Getting right into it. Oh, thanks. Thanks,
Brandon. God, Kira's probably going to go nuts when she sees that. She hears that because Kira's got a little crush on Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
One guy like me, or you've maybe just played Call of Duty, you're familiar with this bad boy. This is the Barrett
50 cal
M82A1. Or just the Barrett, because, you know, it's the Barrett.
It's the Barrett.
Look at the size of the
that
barrel.
Thing is massive.
The bear. I mean,
and you can just tell it's heavy. Just the way he's holding it, I just feel like, man, I would be struggling to hold that. I mean, I guess you want it to be heavy to give it of course stability.
It's got to work.
Yeah, it does.
But even just the barrel itself is like the equivalent of like 1.5 of his fingers.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
A lot of people would consider this a dream gun, but still, you know, thousands of these have been produced. So while it's
also just look at the size of the magazine, dude. Look at how long that is.
Yeah, I mean, it is 50
oh
cal,
my
so,
god.
You know those bullets are big.
You know they thick. You know them some thick boys.
Still, you know, expensive and really cool. You know, it's not exactly uncommon. And what we're going to be talking about today is its much lesser known and more exotic sibling, the Barrett prototype M82A2.
What?
Let's talk about that.
That thing looks funky. That looks so weird.
It looks like an RPG had a baby with Barrett 50 cal.
I mean, it's interesting that it sits over your shoulder.
Yeah.
But I guess that would help with aiming
and stability.
So it makes sense in theory. Clearly they changed it. So
really,
yeah. Oh, this will be really interesting. I mean, that looks wild.
This is some Area 51 shit. Even if there aren't aliens there dancing around, this is there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
Well, I wonder too, by having obvious the bullets are loaded further back. So I'm wondering if that would help. Essentially, you get a longer rifle. The barrel is longer, which would help with.
It'd help with accuracy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that it also helps with the firepower.
But it doesn't shorten your control.
Right.
So it looks like it in theory, it seems like it would be a more accurate, easier to hold weapon.
Yeah. And also the secondary grip being so close to the actual trigger.
Yeah.
Is interesting too.
Yeah.
All right. Show us what you got, Brent.
So this doesn't have feet on it.
All right, let's talk about what the fuck this is. Well, for starters, it's a 50 cal. I mean, everybody knows that the Barrett is a 50 cal. But why is that impressive? I mean, why does it have to be so big and bulky? I mean, hell, the Desert Eagle's a handgun, and that's chambered in 50 cal. Well, not really. See, the Desert Eagle is chambered in 50 Action Express. It's still technically a 50 cal because the bullet is, you know, half-inch diameter. That's what makes a 50 cal 50 cal. But it's not the same as the Barrett, which is 50 BMG. You see, 50 Action Express is big for a pistol cartridge, but that is 50 BMG that the Barrett is chambered.
That's a big difference. That is a very big difference.
That's like, this is a perfect meme screen here. It's like you versus the man she tells you not to worry about.
Dude, I'm sure that exists somewhere.
It's got to.
It better now.
It's got to. Kira, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Chambered in. This is you not subscribed to the channel. This is the average Herrera. Right?
Yes, he knew it. He did it.
So for such a heavy caliber, you're gonna need kind of a heavy gun to be able to handle it, especially in semi-auto. Now, such a heavy gun, like a semi-automatic 50 BMG, is pretty.
Well, yeah, like even
semi-auto, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, and even in like modern warfare and stuff like that, like the Barrett was almost as fast as like a pistol.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of the draw to it.
Yeah.
But the recoil obviously is insane.
Yeah. Hard to fire from the shoulder while standing if you've never done it before. That is, unless you have a Barrett M82A2.
Yeah.
That's right. This thing was made to fire from the shoulder
Oh
while
my
standing.
God.
Oh.
Fuck yeah.
Dang, that thing goes hard into his
Now, some
shoulder.
of you are probably thinking, no, Brandon, can't you just shoulder fire a regular Barrett? I mean, I've seen
I
people do
wouldn't.
that in videos online before. The answer is, well, yes, but actually no. Yes, obviously it is possible to shoulder fire a regular Barrett. However, it's not really that practical, and it's not what this gun was designed to do. The Barrett was designed to be fired from the prone. Should be obvious, given that it comes with a fucking bipod built onto it. It's made to be a relatively long-range anti-material rifle, and firing it from the shoulder, not really conducive to that longer range part. So how does one go about making the Barrett easier to shoulder fire? Well, in this case, they bullpupped it. Now, bullpups, for those of you who aren't familiar, are something that I am not a fan of. It's when, in order to try to shrink the overall size of the weapon, they put the fire control group ahead of...
Well, not that I've really fired a bullpup gun, but I always think they look cool. Like, what's the game? I don't know. I feel like usually in FPS games, I enjoy bullpup designs. I think they're interesting.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I see it too. Like, yeah, it makes. I mean,
like
just look at that thing.
Is a typical bullpup.
Yep.
I always just think it looks cool.
Yeah, no, and it does. And the P90 is a very popular weapon. So maybe
I've only used it in video games, but it does look wacky with a Barrett.
It does. To me, what's so funny, and like when he was loading in the magazine too, like it sounded almost like cheap. It sounded like you could hear springs and stuff moving around. Like it almost sounded plasticky. But dude, I can't imagine how heavy that gun is.
Yeah.
And the freaking I mean, it's literally letting out like the equivalent of like, that'd be like if you were firing like and Coke cans were like coming out of like the chamber when. Yeah. But like even you see the exposed spring on the end there. So like part of it almost looks like a little bit cheap to it. Almost looks like a toy. It almost looks
I wonder if this is a prototype, they're probably using, they're only machining certain parts.
Right.
Whereas like the other Barrett looks so much more, maybe a bit more complete. Yeah.
This looks like a little 3D printed almost like, but.
Well, I don't think it was 3D.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying.
Metal there. Yeah, that thing I'm sure is still pretty beefy.
The magazine. This typically removes the need for a normal stock in the case of like the AUG and the Tavor.
That's
on a weapon like the M82A2, just means you got a little bit of receiver sticking out behind your shoulder. So this is kind of an over-the-shoulder weapon, much like I guess an RPG is supposed to be. Which I guess checks out because this gun is basically supposed to.
That would help with the weight of it though too, because
it's well, especially while standing, right?
Yeah.
It's a significantly more balanced experience in terms of I'm not even saying from just a person standpoint. It's a way easier to balance when you're on shoulder versus at your shoulder.
Yeah,
it's a way.
Yeah.
But I'm also wondering, like the closed grip like that. I'm wondering too, like what that like if that helps with stability.
Yeah, as opposed
if
to
it
having like a longer reach.
Like maybe. Yeah, extending.
And I guess you're able to hold, like if you're able to get two hands closer together in a fixed position, you're pretty much able to support it with two arms as opposed to like one holding more of the weight. You can if they're both closer, you can hold it up better. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know that much. Yeah.
It'll turn you into a mobile artillery piece.
Dang.
Of course, the original Barrett fire control group is right here behind the magazine well. This one was moved forward with the use of a trigger linkage, which is why bullpups usually have some of the shittiest triggers possible. This gun being no real exception. Showing clear, gun is clear. This trigger is not great. Reason for that is because you've got the regular trigger pull of a Barrett M82 with the added trigger pull of your trigger linkage. So your trigger is now performing the action of something that is like 1.25 feet behind it. So yeah, not really surprised that it's kind of ass. Now instead of your—
So let us know in the comments too, for like, I kind of understand what he's talking about, but essentially when he's talking about a crappy trigger, does that relate to the feel? Does that relate to the weight of the trigger? Does that relate to the required force to pull it through?
It sounds like it's like the weight, like because
it sounded really almost flimsy, didn't it?
Yeah,
like
but I also just don't know
knot?
if that was just the spring going off. I mean, I'm not sure if it sounds pingy just because it's like maxing the microphone. Yeah. But I think it's that you're pulling this like almost foot-long cable, so just that sort of like mechanical movement. That's all.
Just
like,
probably feels very strange.
Harder pull.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I don't know.
Let us know in the comments.
That's why we get to interact with you guys. You definitely have more knowledge than us.
Your pistol grip and trigger group, fire control group back here. On this model, we have a shoulder stock, or basically just like a shoulder pad. And honestly, it's not as uncomfortable as it looks. This is actually it's not a smooth gun to fire. It's not an easy shooting gun to fire, but compared to most 50 cals, this is pretty decent. Do a little mobility test with this thing and intentionally try not to ruin their steel out here.
It looks like he's got a fucking child on his shoulder, like he's like about to go to a carnival.
Weighs as much as one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's just a funny image of Brandon right there. That's great.
It's actually shockingly easy to carry around this M82A2 like this. Compared to a Barrett, you really couldn't be running around like this super easy.
Yeah.
Also, whatever jeans he is wearing should 100% sponsor Brandon Herrera for that maneuverability, that tight jean fit. But clearly, they're working for him. Easy to go down a prone to get on that, man. Get on that. Like, I want to know what jeans Brandon Herrera is wearing right here. Like,
I want those jeans.
I want those jeans, Brandon.
Yeah. Are you
pretty mobile?
I feel like you're channeling. You're just like, how else could I talk about Brandon's? Like, how else can I get him to like be hooked up with Kira? Like, that's what you're doing.
Tell me about your other gear, Brandon. Like what? Break down this outfit for me. Break down
Where'd you get those boots?
Yeah,
man?
break down
like Hardy boots, man.
Break down.
Where do you work out, Brandon? You look good. You're looking swole.
Damn.
I think it's because of the way I have it up on my shoulder, like so. All of the weight is just going straight down into my spine, where it should be. I'm beginning to see why I think the military like this. Not too bad. My cardio sucks. So I've mentioned before that this is kind of a rare piece. I may have been underselling that a little bit. From what I've been able to gather, and I really have no way of confirming this, so if Barrett would like to correct me on this, I'd be happy to issue a correction. I believe only 10 of these prototypes were ever made, which is kind of cool if that's the case, because based on the serial number, I believe this is number 10. So supposedly 10 of these ever made. I don't know how many Barrett still has, and I don't know if the military kept any. I do know one of these is still in a Hollywood prop house because, surprise, surprise, this is the supposed 20mm rifle from Jurassic Park 3.
Bigger. Why do they always have to go bigger?
No, the good Jurassic Park 3.
Alan.
All right, it was okay. To my knowledge, this is the only one that was ever sold commercially, at least that I've been able to find. And that was thanks to Rock Island Auction. So big shout out to those guys. They've got some really, really cool shit at some of their premiere.
I'm curious as to like how much even just the standard Barrett costs.
Yeah.
Let alone a, like he wasn't kidding in the title, super rare prototype weapon. Like, because it's not just like gun collectors, right? Like it's gun hobbyists. It's people that actually shoot guns, people that like, it's actually a pretty expansive audience that would be interested in something like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really know nothing about the gun market or.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive. He was able to get his hands on.
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm like, what I'm saying is that had to be a pretty high tier auction house to have one of potentially only 10 gun prototypes ever made.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Air auctions. It's become the new enhanced version of my gun broker addiction, that's for sure. So on their website, they got some more cool photos of this thing, as well as a write-up on the history of the M82A2, as well as what I ended up paying for it before auction fee.
Okay, that's pretty expensive. Yeah.
All right, son, you've been real good for Christmas this year. You can pick to either have a brand new Toyota Corolla or you can have your M82A2 prototype weapon. What'll it be? What'll it be?
Yeah. Dang. Well, that is, I mean, it is really unique. So I'm sure it will only increase in value if he maintains it. And I'm sure he will maintain it. So that is one of those things where it's like an investment more than, well, obviously he's using it too.
Yeah. But any time that, something that gets that rare. Yeah. If the timing's right, like, I would not be surprised if he could get the upper range for that weapon at some point in time.
Well,
Because so
I mean, he got a deal on it. It's lower than the estimated price.
Hey, man. Well, that estimated range is also pretty large. It's a pretty substantial range.
Yeah.
Fees in Texas. So why was the M82A2 ever made in the first place? Well, the answer is the military actually asked for it. See, the military had already adopted the original Barrett M82 for a while, and they wanted, and I shit you not, a version that could be shouldered and fire at enemy helicopters, either standing or crouching. And so Barrett went back to their mad scientists, and they came out with these prototypes. That's where details start to get a little hazy, but best I can figure is that the military came back to Barrett and said, oh my God, that was a shit idea. We're so sorry. We're not buying any. And these were never produced. That didn't stop Metal Gear Solid, but hey, still kind of cool. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and simulate what the recoil force of that would be like. Yeah, just kidding. This gun is unloaded. What the fuck, guys? Did you actually think I was just gonna fire a 50 BMG straight up in the air into God knows where downtown San Antonio?
Yeah,
thank
Jesus,
you.
I thought better of you guys, truthfully.
I was.
Now that we've talked a little bit about
Brandon.
Oh man, I was like, no.
Wow, April Fools over here. From
I mean, even when he was running around, I was a little nervous because I'm like, you're running around,
honestly,
and fired it off. But he did have. You saw his finger. I mean, it was off the trigger. So like, but I was still like, this thing No. Okay. Okay. Be careful, please. Yeah. Yeah.
Its features. First off, the magazine release, as you can probably tell, is in kind of a weird spot. It's this thing. Again, prototype. I get it. You push this in, releases that, and you have a very crudely dremeled square hole right there in the side of what is otherwise a standard M82 mag. So 10 rounds, semi-automatic, 50 BMG. Now we're gonna do a quick tear down, show you the guts of this thing, what makes it tick. And while I do that, I will encourage you that if you are interested in gunsmithing, gun design, stuff like that, and you think this shit is cool, kind of want to get started in the industry, you check out our sponsor for the day, which is SDI, Sonoran Desert Institute. They're a great resource if you want to get a jump start into your career in gunsmithing. So if you want to check them out, the link is in the description and in the pinned comment. You can do cool shit like this. So this, as you see, I pull the bolt back after pulling those two pins out. It's going to separate what is basically the upper and the lower. And so it hinges out just like the normal Barrett. So as you can see here, with the exception of the fire control group being further forward, this is all just like your standard Barrett. You've got your giant ass recoil spring here in the back, and you've got your bolt.
Massive. That thing is like huge.
Yeah, that's probably over a foot.
Oh yeah,
that spring.
That is a massive spring.
God. Carrier up front here. Pretty much your standard semi-automatic 50 cal with a triangular bolt up front. So as you can see here, the trigger kind of has a linkage that goes up through here, and you see this welded piece on here. This covers up the linkage that links it back to this bit in the rear, which is what fires the gun through the bolt. Barrett's one of those weird systems where a lot of the firing mechanism is actually in the bolt itself. If you're not familiar with this system or you just don't give a shit, don't worry, I'm not gonna go into the details of the internals because this video would be 30 fucking minutes long. Speaking of which, I think it's about time for an ADD break. For our regularly scheduled ADD break, the most ridiculously overkill White Claw penetration test of all time.
Oh,
I think it's gonna work. I had to guess.
Nah, dude, it's a little
said
too
the gun
weak.
was easy to rack from the shoulder. Taking out the White Claw Air Force in 3, 2, 1.
Dang.
Straight through.
Dude, the cartridge
Straight in and
almost
out,
came back
dumping
and
like
hit.
3% of that round's energy into this White Claw and the rest into the berm behind it. So we're gonna need something probably a little bigger if we want to show off the real kind of power that we're dealing with when it comes to a 50 cal Barrett.
He's got a red dot on there. Did you see
Shit
that?
at close range in my day to know I'm not gonna be overly fond of what comes of this.
Hey man, with inflation nowadays, that's like $10 a Pepsi right there, man.
I don't think he's worried about it. He spent $20K on this gun.
Before taxes and fees.
Yeah, before taxes and fees.
Before taxes and fees.
The more I look at it, the more I see a shower in my future. And then like a real shower. That's fucking gross. I swear the shit I do for you guys.
Look at that scope,
3,
babe. That's
2,
awesome.
1.
Oh.
I'm dry. Are you dry?
Nice.
Shit.
But needless to say, I think we got pretty good effect there. 1 Pepsi bottle, 2
Shit.
Pepsi bottle, and eviscerated the bottom of 3rd Pepsi bottle. Yeah, I think that does a little bit better job of showing the metric ass load of force that 50 BMG has behind it. Now onto the upper, as you can tell, this is pretty much just an M82. Like this is, I'm pretty sure, almost unmodified, just a different location of the Picatinny rail and everything. Obviously we've got a EOTech up top for lulls. Not exactly taking this out to long distance. As you can see, we've got the typical Barrett pogo stick of death. So this right here is a spring system.
Literally
This is
a pogo
short
stick.
recoil operated, whereas like the Lynx and things like that are long recoil. This one is short recoil, which means it uses the rearward motion of the barrel under recoil, and after firing around, to push this entire chamber assembly back with the bolt and carrier, and the motion of that moving backward unlocks the bolt and allows the weapon to then cycle. So no gas system, this one
Thus,
entirely
it
works.
being a semi-automatic
on
gun.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I was like,
that's
I'm
what he was
confused
saying.
Why this is operating.
Actually, it's actually like a really smart mechanism. It's using the basic laws of physics in a way against
To
yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
Hence the BOGO stick. Putting it back together. Relatively simple, just kind of big and unwieldy. Got to get this tab here.
Yeah, that bolt itself just looks so heavy, dude.
Pull back enough to clear. Send it back forward. And then you are ready to put in your pins. And then one end through there. Now your M82A2 is back and ready to do what it does best. Bag dump into trash. Oh, and take out helicopters. Now we're gonna let this baby finally do what she was built to do. Take out enemy air support.
Oh.
Yeah.
It could be one of the new Chinese drones. Actually, technically is exactly what that is. Well guys, I hope you learned a thing or two from this video, and if you enjoyed it, please leave a like down below. I appreciate you guys being subscribed to the channel, and as always, I'll see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video.
He missed!
Enemy helo down.
That's why it's a semi. Because if you miss, you can hit it again.
Miss. Yeah. All right. Awesome. So freaking cool. You get a much stronger sense, obviously, of his like personality when it's something like where it's his own creation. Because we've only reacted to Brandon when he's reacting to others.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
It is interesting to see him like mess around with different types of weapons, especially I think for me there's still some like I enjoy learning about the history of it.
Yeah,
and I think that's really fascinating. And
it's a really good balance of like application, demonstration with history and context in there. And even as someone who doesn't know a lot about guns, it's done in a very entertaining and
and I appreciate the respect
respectful
that he has
way.
for everyone.
Yeah.
But I think that really like you can tell how knowledgeable he is, and I think that adds to the level of the respect that he clearly has for these weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And he treats them as such.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I appreciate that, and but also while also being entertaining.
Yes,
which I think
100%
is a fine line to walk. Like,
yes,
I think other people are like, oh yeah, let me be interesting with this gun and do something dumb. And he's like, no, I will not do that. Right. But I can be interesting in other ways.
In other ways, right?
Yeah,
right.
So I think that's really cool. And I hope you like this video. Let us know in the comment section down below. Appreciate all the comments on the last videos. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything else. And we will see you next time
on Chicago React.